One of the toughest things to do in all of college football is win on the road. When you're a ranked team going into a hostile environment, these fans are ready to knock them off course. Welcome to Raleigh, North Carolina, Carter Finley Stadium, and home to the NC State Wolfpack. The Hokies will kick it away to start. And it'll be a touchback. The ball will come out to the 25-yard line. So NC State's offense will get the football first. We have got a tremendous matchup between these two running backs, both stars in their own right, and David, both ready to make a huge impact.
I mean, how fun is it to have two guys, one on each side, when they have the football, like they can go the distance. Just dynamic speed.
Run to the right. 30. Past the 20. Touchdown, Wolfpack! And once he found open space, the band might as well start playing.
And these offensive coordinators tell you they want to start fast and they want to establish the run game. That is exactly what you did. First drive, you hand the football off, making the big explosive run, setting the tone for this football game.
Getting ready for the extra point after the first score of the game. And the extra point makes it 7-0. That kind of drive will boost your confidence. One play, hit the big pass, put a touchdown on the board. On the move from inside his 5. Not a whole lot of room to operate on that return as the coverage unit was there and ready. So the Virginia Tech Hokies offense will go to work for the first time today. Every team has impact players. What traits are you looking for when it comes to players who can make an impact, David?
Well, obviously, you want the main things, right? Speed, physicality, like all power, all those things are really, really good. But you also need guys that will hold people accountable, guys that will lead. And it's nice to have those guys on your team. They're the leaders of the team, and they're the best players.
And part of the reason why they're leaders is because these guys galvanize their teammates, right? We've seen time and time again, these dudes make plays, and it just sparks the sideline. It sparks the coaching staff. It sparks the fans. They're special players, and they all have to play well today.
Trying to set up the screen. Crosses the 30. He's got a lane. Just what they were looking for to get this drive rolling. They're out to the 35.
After watching the other offense go down the field to score a touchdown, you know this guy's trying to lead his offense to do the exact same thing. That was a big third down. I know there's a lot of football left to play, but you're trying to establish confidence as early as possible. That last throw is really going to help out your team.
That is a big win for this defense as they were right there as soon as he got the ball. Reads it, fires complete. They bring him down, but a solid pickup to put them in position to pick up a first down. And the Hokies headed quickly to the line. Gives it to the back on the draw. That's not quite going to be enough as they stop him 4 yards short of the marker. The Hokies will punt it away on fourth down. First time we've seen their punt team tonight. And they'll get downfield and make the tackle right at the 16-yard line. NC State sending the offense back onto the field. They'll leave it with him. Already a solid start to this one. Now back to work with this 7-0 lead. Got stuffed on first down. It's 2nd and 10. Back to pass. Caught over the middle. It's Schultz. He's close to the first down, but they're going to mark him just a little short. NC State to the line on 3rd and inches. They make the stop, and he'll have enough yardage for a first down. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. The pull and throw off the RPO. And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play. Makes the catch. It's Schultz. He's really close to that first down marker, but they stop him just a bit short. NC State comes to the line to deal with 3rd and short. They'll try to get the first through the air. Got the quick pass. A solid pickup there. Works it to the 38 before being pushed out of bounds. Wants to go up top on first down. Working the middle. Good pickup there as he gets the first down, and they'll mark him at the 48. Use the play fake, now to throw. He tries to take the top off. And they weren't able to make the connection. They were looking for an explosive play. So now it's 2nd and long. He wants to throw it again. And the pass is incomplete thanks to a big hit. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. The Wolfpack with lots of ground to cover on 3rd down. From the gun, wants to pass. He's got an open man. They are on the move as they pick up the first down. They'll spot it at the 28.
And it's on 3rd downs like this. If you want to attack the middle of the field, you got to look for the tight end. Really nice route. Great job looking that football in. You can tell this quarterback really has a lot of confidence when he's in the pocket looking for the big fella, and they're able to hook up there.
Drag down, but they'll move the sticks for a first down. NC State quick to the line. Out of the gun, they'll run it inside. He bullies his way all the way down to the 5-yard line. Going to work on 2nd down in the red zone is still some ground to cover to pick up that first down. Power football with the run. And he takes it in for a score. Touchdown, North Carolina State.
This is a guy that put a lot of pressure on himself coming into the season. He felt like he was ready to have a breakout year. He knew he had all the tools in the toolbox to be able to get it done, and he's showing it. That's his 10th rushing touchdown on the season.
They'll try to add another to their lead. And the extra point makes it 14-0. And let's check in with Kevin Connors in the studio. Kevin?
Men, we'll have a shakeup in the MAC standings this week. Check this out. Western Michigan was far from the friendly confines of Kalamazoo, but still managed to scratch out a win. And there was a lot of chatter this week about this group not being ready. Time to check those receipts, if you know what I mean. A busy day in the MAC, and an outcome that figures to shuffle the deck there as we send it back to you.
Kevin, thanks a lot for that one. Sounds as if they had a good one there.
And the offense has a little bit of success, and what do? They push that turbo button right back on the line, ready to run another play.
Not a lot of room, but found his way ahead for 2 out to the 26. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. Feels as if the whole city of Raleigh is trying to help out the Pack on 3rd down. They'll try to get it through the air. Complete in the middle. Good, solid pickup on that one. They've got it out to the 40, and it's first down.
All right, defense, you got to turn the page. You just gave up an explosive play through the air, but here comes the offense going quickly. You got to get lined up now and get ready for another one.
He just got rid of that one to save the down. Didn't see anything he liked. Behind the chains now on 2nd and long. They'll run it from the gun. Not much running room there thanks to this senior defender. Better find the earplugs. Here comes the noise, backing this defense on 3rd down. He'll pull it on the read. He is denied. Cannot get to the 1st down marker, and it's 4th down coming. And the Hokies will line up to punt it away. This will be the 2nd time they've had to kick it away. He'll field the punt. He'll get it to about the 25 before they put a stop to the return. North Carolina State has it back in the offense, headed to the field. They put 2 touchdowns on the board in the early going, and now right back to work. This time he doesn't get loose, and finally the defense gets him bottled up behind the line. 2nd down, he'll throw it. Nowhere close on that one as he got drilled trying to deliver the football, and now they face 3rd down. Back in motion, try to clear the picture. 3rd and long, and he'll try to throw for it. Got his man downfield. And he gets it done on 3rd down. They move the chains, and they'll mark it at the 44.
And as soon as the receiver caught the ball, you saw the quarterback start communicating to his teammates what the next play was going to be because they're now changing the tempo and going fast.
It's complete. Offense on the move. A big play there. Gets it to the 30.
And, David, I know there's a part of you that wonders what if had you played tight end. You and I have been out in the field pregame before. We've been spinning it around with your athleticism. I know you wonder what it would have been like to go make plays like that.
I tell you what, I do wonder what if now, Jesse, because now you can't hit these guys. Like, you're not allowed to hit them high, all the targeting. Like, if you're a big body guy with good hands, you can go make a lot of money. Might have been a little bit safer. Might not have got hurt. So, yeah, it might not have been that bad of a living.
As they get set to snap it, time winding down here in the quarter. They finally get a hold of him, knocking him down behind the line of scrimmage. He had been running wild. We've reached the end of the quarter, and NC State has the edge. They largely dominated this first quarter as indicated by the stats. Now the challenge here, they've taken a punch, but they can't let it get out of hand as we start the 2nd. This offense had a little extra time to think about it. Let's see what they have on 3rd down. From the gun, wants to pass. It's incomplete, and this ought to be a boost of confidence for this defense, getting a stop against these guys on 3rd down. Splits the uprights right down the middle. And now the lead is even bigger.
And you want a touchdown, and you want to be aggressive, but, man, right down the middle, that obviously gives me some confidence down the road that I can trust this guy.
They're really starting to extend that lead as they get ready to kick it away again. He'll bring it back from inside his 5. Not a lot of space to be found. Good hustle by the coverage team, and they stop him at the 21. And Virginia Tech sends the offense onto the field. After giving up that score, now it's incumbent on this offense to kind of get a back and forth going, Jesse, in this game.
They got to put some points on the board here. There's obviously a lot of football to go, so it's not necessarily panic time just yet, but I'm getting the ball into the hands of my best playmakers on this drive.
I hear you, Jesse, but not panic time. Have you seen my defense? I mean, I'm not trusting them to get a lot of stops, so he puts a lot of pressure on this offense.
The Hokies want to move quickly. Wide receiver comes in motion. Give to the back. Oh, he's got some space. And he's to the 48-yard line. That'll be good enough for a 1st down. And the Hokies come to the line with a new set of downs. Oh, and they'll try to catch him with a pass. Working that left side. They finally get him on the ground, but he's got an explosive play for the 1st down.
Man, if I'm a defense, I got to find a way to get some more pressure on the quarterback or disrupt their timing and their rhythm. I can't give them these big chunk plays through the air. I got to be maybe a little bit more aggressive or do something a little bit different.
Oh, he drops the football. He had him right down the gut of the field. Instead, it'll be second down. And the defense makes the stop after a minimal gain. From here, it would just be a 30-yard field goal try. Let's see how aggressive they're going to be to try to pick up that first down. Fires to the wideout. Got his man. They get him down, but this offense is set up first and goal from the 9. He's looking to throw. Finds his big tight end. Tried to hit him with a quick game on first down, and nothing doing there. He'll run it up the middle, trying to pick his way to the end zone. And he waltzes in for the score. Touchdown, Hokies!
You know, this offense knew coming into the season it was so important for this guy to stay healthy. They needed him week in, week out because he plays at such a high level, and he's showing it here. That last carry was his 10th rushing touchdown of the season.
He'll try to tack on one more. And it's up and good as they draw just a touch closer. They're getting set to kick it away, and that last score took a little oomph out of this crowd. And he takes this from inside the 5. He was looking for some running room, but not much to be found as he stopped at the 18. NC State sending the offense back onto the field. Got the quick completion. Didn't pick up a lot there, moved it forward just a few. Well, will they dial up on second and a long way to go? Red pass, it's complete. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage. NC State has work to do to convert this third down. Working that left side now. And with that effort, they pick up a fresh set of downs. They have it at the 34-yard line. Out of the gun, the inside give. And there was nowhere to go, just stopped in his tracks in the backfield. Pulls it and fires to the left. He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage. NC State has to come up with a big play on third and long. Unleashes one. Grabbed in the middle. It's Schultz. Oh, he's getting ahead of steam. Touchdown, NC State. And once he found open space, the band might as well start playing. They've extended the lead and taken control here in Week 9.
Quarterback's abilities to read the field is huge, and also the anticipation, the timing. To be able to throw the football, Jesse, and hit a guy in stride so he can get run after the catch and get in the end zone, that was a nice job by the quarterback.
Yeah, it's critical, Dave. And listen, a lot of times touchdown passes aren't thrown into the end zone. You've got to read the coverage, hit the open guy, and let him do the rest.
Lining up to tack one more onto that lead. And he puts through the extra point. So that scoring drive took only 6 plays. They're ready to kick it away, and this crowd is buzzing after that last score. And he's going to bring it out. He was looking for some running room, but not much to be found as he stopped at the 18. And we're about to get another look at this Hokie offense. They'll crank up this drive with the pass. Gets it out quickly. You'll take 4 yards on first down every time, 2nd and 6. He'll keep it himself. He's going to lose a yard on that one. The Hokies racing to the line in the hurry-up. Sends it back in motion. On 3rd and long, he's going to have to throw for it. Intercepted, and the defense has set him up. He goes down after the short return, but what a play to get the football back.
And he makes a play in the back end. Nice job reading the pass, and that's his 2nd of the season. This guy, unbelievable job seeing the quarterback, breaking on the quarterback, and going and getting that big play.
North Carolina State has it back in the offense, headed to the field. They unleashed an aerial assault last time that took them right to the end zone, David.
So, Reese, with that drive, I think you've accomplished something you wanted to accomplish. Make this defense think. You put them back on their heels. Now, shoot, Palmer, you might be able to slip a few runs in on this drive to really jack them up.
Yeah, I like that idea, but I also like the fact that speed kills, and they've got it at the receiver position, so if you've got one on...
Got enough space, and he'll race it to the house. Touchdown, Wolfpack.
The defense has got to do a better job of taking the most dangerous man. That's the guy with the football in his hands. Force him to do something with it. You can't just let him keep the ball and go score.
They'll try to add another to their lead. And the extra point was good. They got the ball in great field position, and bam, bam, 2 plays and into the end zone. And he'll just take a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. And Virginia Tech sends the offense onto the field. They face a pretty tall mountain here, Jesse, down 24, but if they're going to climb it, this is a good time to start.
Sense of urgency's got to be big right here. You just get the feeling at this point of the game, David, they've got to score on this drive. Obviously, their defense needs to get stops, but at this point, offensively, they've got to execute much better.
They got to be super aggressive. Down 24, you're going to...
And the pass rush is effective, and they tackle him at the 19.
And you're seeing the pass rush on the 2nd play of the drive. They dial it up. Look at the speed and athleticism this defense has as they corral the quarterback for a loss.
Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. On 3rd and long, he'll have to turn it loose deep. Trying to make... There he goes! And how about that alertness and that swarming D to keep him from getting the first down? A couple of yards shy of the first down marker, but they've decided this is 4-down territory. The offense still on the field. Off the play fake. Here's a heat. And they got him. A sack denies the try to convert on 4th down.
Man, first half being that aggressive on your side of the field, that's a different world. Like, you live in the analytics world, and I know people say go for it more often. I don't see the point in going for it on that one early in the game in that situation.
NC State sending the offense back onto the field. This offense has really been clicking in the game so far, Jesse.
No doubt. Everything their play caller is dialing up, these guys offensively have been able to go out and execute, David.
Yeah, and it's just maintaining the lead. Keep doing what you've been doing. You got a big lead. Let's just keep piling it on until they find an answer.
Wants to fire on 2nd down. Quickly to the tight end. And this one will be stopped for no gain. NC State comes to the line to deal with 3rd and short. Looking to throw for it. That's reeled in. It's Schultz. They'll make the stop about a yard short of the first down. And for the 2nd time tonight, they'll trot out the field goal kicker. Right down the boulevard. It's good. And now the lead is extended a little further.
And listen, y'all know in the booth and everywhere how I feel about kickers. Don't always love leaving it on their foot, so to speak, but nice job executing. He keeps doing stuff like that. I'll keep trotting him out there.
Let's see what he can do with the return. He was looking for more running room, but none to be found as he stopped at the 23. Opening play of this drive will come from their own 23. They'll start this drive going to the air. fires to the big fella. And that corner came in hot despite knowing that he was giving up some size. Looking for a chunk play on second and short. And wings it incomplete. And the Hokies really need to keep this drive alive on third down. They'll try to pick up the first through the air. Pressure all over the quarterback, and down he goes at the 24. Timeout is called, and it's the defense wanting to make sure that everyone's on the same page for this big down. Punt is on its way. This guy is a daring punt return man. He's not going to settle for the fair catch. A solid return gets a little bit of ground for the offense. From the gun, leaves it on the inside with the back. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that. Didn't get much on first down. It's 2nd and 9. Gets it out fast. All down, but he has enough to move the chains. It's a 1st and 10 from the 42-yard line. Catch in the middle. It's Schultz. He'll be stopped just outside the 20 at the 21 in the waning moments here in the first half. Timeout called by the offense, and now they just have one remaining in the half. Looking to throw on first down. Pocket breaking down. Pressure is on the way, and the pressure has arrived, and down he goes at the 30.
Well, obviously, at this point in the first half, the defense is finding themselves in a hole. You just get the feeling if they're going to get back in this, they're going to need more plays like that. They're going to need sacks. They're going to need turnovers. They're going to have to create negative plays to get themselves some momentum.
NC State with a lot of ground to cover after losing yardage on the last play. 2nd down, they'll go to the air. He's got his man, makes the grab. They make the stop, trying to pick up just a little bit at a time to get to that first down marker. They'll use a timeout right before halftime, maybe time for 1 or 2 more plays. Just drives it between the uprights. Well, that's just piling on. Not the penalty kind, just the mean kind.
And that's not the way they wanted to end the drive, but nice job being ready and your field goal kicker coming through and putting 3 points on the board.
Bringing it out. He was looking for some running room, but not much to be found as he stopped at the 18. So the offense doesn't want to take a chance here. They'll just come out and take a knee and wrap up the half. We've played 2 quarters here. Time to go to Kevin Connors in our halftime update.
Guys, one of the best environments in the game, and Raleigh has given us a fun first half. And talk about a first half for the dude in that backfield. That coaching staff has been giving rave reviews on a weekly basis. And through 2 quarters today, he's been a complete game changer. He's breaking the will of this defense, and that's something that's just very tough to quantify. And with that, let's send it back to the fellas in Carter Finley Stadium.
North Carolina State will kick it off to open the 3rd quarter. He'll start the return inside his 5. Nice job by the kickoff team. Everybody stayed in their lanes, and they'll stop him at the 16. And we're about to get another look at this Hokie offense. They'll come out on this drive and let it rip. And the pressure gets him back at the 8-yard line.
And listen, the quarterback drops back, and he's going through his progressions. We see zone, but just couldn't do anything about it. This defensive line, this pressure, getting to the quarterback, getting him on the ground.
The Hokies have put themselves in dire straits after that last play. It's 2nd and a mile. Motion from the wideout. Wants to go up top. Looking to the big tight end. And it'll be incomplete. This is some physical pass defense. This defense has kept them backed up. Now one more stop, and they can get off the field on 3rd and long. Under fire.
And I wish I could bring you some hope, but, man, this defense, again, you know, they already got the lead. They got their ears pinned back. They're rushing the quarterback. I know this one's over, but offensively, let's find a way to protect our guy, put something together. Maybe we find a way to make this respectable at some point in the football game.
And the Hokies line up to punt it away. 3 and out, and not much choice but to get rid of the ball. So from his own end zone, the punt is away. He takes it at the 45. Not able to pop the big return, but they've got the ball back and ready to go with a fresh possession. North Carolina State has it back in the offense, headed to the field. Makes the grab down the middle. Got the completion, but nowhere to go as that defense reacted quickly. Gets the back moving. To the air on 2nd down. Got it in the middle, it's Schultz. Found a little bit of room to operate, but he'll be stopped just short of the 1st down. The give to the tailback. Looks as if NC State has a 1st down. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. Got it behind the line. It's Schultz. Breaks into the open. Now the connection takes it to the 11. NC State on the move, set up with another 1st down. Give to the running back. They'll knock him down for a loss of a couple. Operating in the red zone here on 2nd down. Pulls and fires complete to the right. They'll get it down to the 10-yard line on that completion. Really need to pick up this conversion and avoid having to settle for the field goal. Got his man quickly. They're going to stop him short, and, man, we haven't seen a lot of that. This offense has been a machine on 3rd down. Splits the uprights. It's good. And that'll add 3 more to a lead that is already way out of hand.
Man, so many more times we're going to say, go for it, be aggressive. Nice to have a guy you can depend on, and you know you're putting 3 on the board. Nice kick, nice job.
And he's coming out of the end zone. Pulled down at the 18, and the decision to bring it out of the end zone was not a good one. And Virginia Tech sends the offense onto the field. They didn't get much done the last time they had it. Had to punt it away from deep in their own territory, hoping this drive will be more. Snatches it on the right. They bring him down, but the big play will move the sticks.
Well, I'll tell you, there are a lot of coordinators out there that would want to set up the shot, especially on the first play of the drive. Maybe run the ball, and then a few plays later, go play action, make it look the same before shooting it downfield. They just did it right away on 1st down. First play of the drive. If you get the matchup, take the shot. And that's exactly what happened. Nice job.
Got his man. Shoots his way for more. He almost picked up the 1st down on that one, but he'll be just a little bit short. The Hokies come to the line on 3rd and short, trying to keep the drive alive. Now with a great opportunity as they pick up the 1st down, they've got it at the 40. So they move the sticks on the run. Let's see what they do with this one. To the air on 1st down. Tight end finds a soft spot. Stop just inside the 30 at the 29. It's a 10-yard pickup and a 1st down. Quarterback on the keeper. And he'll lose yardage on this play. Loses 2 yards. Great job by the defense. Going to sling it on 2nd down. Got him downfield. They knock him down, but he's got enough to get it across the line and pick up the 1st down. It's complete to the left. And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. They're dealing with a 2nd and long. Looking to fire. Throws to the wideout. And it'll be incomplete. This defense is physical and pass deep. Now facing a 3rd and long. Wants to throw again. Got it set up on the outside. Runs through the tackle. Not a whole lot of room there on that screen pass as it just never developed. And here comes the field goal unit. And this one is perfect. After that last field goal drive, they're set to kick it away. Here he comes from inside his own 5. Nice job by the kickoff team. Everybody stayed in their lanes, and they'll stop him at the 16. We'll see what they can do on this drive that starts at the 16-yard line. Off the play fake on 1st down. And this will be incomplete. A big hit there forces 2nd down. Couldn't make the connection last time. Let's see if they throw it again. Off play action. Just too much juice on that one as he airmails his receiver out of bounds. The Wolfpack with lots of ground to cover on 3rd down. From the gun, wants to pass. Looking for a deep man. Catch inside the 25. And he motors into the end zone. Touchdown, Wolfpack!
And man, is that perfect timing. You can tell quarterback drops back. He sees his guy, and he knows he's open. But watch the throw. Deep down the field, Palmer, right in the bread basket. Nice play, nice pitch and catch.
He did a nice job of getting it up in the air early and allowing his guy to run under the football, locate it, and then make a tough grab. That is the definition of an explosive play.
Ready to try the point after. And with that extra point, the lead remains in the gargantuan category. Kickoff unit back to work, and they have been busy as they've built this sizable lead. On the run from inside his own 5. Really disciplined job by the coverage unit to get down there and make the stop at the 19. This drive will start from the 19-yard line. They'll run it out of the shotgun. Just searching and working for the running room as he gets it out to the 26. He's got 50 yards rushing in this one and within striking distance of a 1,000-yard season. Just a bit of a misfire there as they can't make the connection. And the Hokies come to the line on 3rd and short, looking to keep this drive moving. Turning it on! Nice job to get it past the sticks, and they get him down at the 35. Line gets set, 1st down. From the gun, they'll try to impose their will. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage. We've reached the break. It's NC State on top. Let's take a quick look at the national rankings to see how this playoff race is shaping up. I guess if you're an optimist, the stage is set for a massive 4th quarter comeback. So the final period starts with a 2nd down play. They'll send the tight end in motion. He'll do it himself. Not much running room there thanks to this senior defender. After the last run, would you just give it to him again on 3rd down? From the gun, wants to pass. Snagged in the middle, it's Jean-Pierre. Gets it to the 46-yard line. 1st down for this offense. Looking to throw on 1st down. All kinds of room to throw that one in there. And he gets a big chunk of yardage to the 34-yard line. Wide receiver going in motion. Looking downfield on first down. Throws for the tight end. Got his man to the left. He's brought down, but there's a flag on the field. Let's see which way that's going to go.
And the defender just way too handsy on that last play. You could see all the contact as the ball was in the air. He simply can't do it, and the referee's caught.
And it's incomplete. If you're going to take a hit like that, you might as well hang on to the ball. Plenty of work to do here on 2nd and long. Misfired on the last play. They'll go back to the air. He's got it on the move. They go up top to get it down to the 5-yard line as they try to pay off this drive. Wants to go up top. Quickly complete. He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage. They'll try to dial up a better one this time on 2nd and goal from the 5. Back to pass. Fires to the end zone. Touchdown, Virginia Tech. Grab the short pass to put the 6 on the board.
Yeah, good for them. They put together a drive. They got a touchdown. It's been a bad day. I mean, this is a day they're going to want to forget. They're getting destroyed, but at least you get some positive vibes. Maybe finish this game on a little bit of a high note. A little bit.
Getting set for the point after. Hit that one with some aggression for the point after. They took it 68 yards on that drive. They're coming out to tee it up for the kickoff, and that last score was a real buzzkill for this crowd. On the move from inside his 5. He was hoping for something a little more dynamic, but they get him on the ground at the 20. NC State sending the offense back onto the field. He'll pull it on the read. Able to scrounge 3 yards out of that one somehow. It's 2nd and 7. Got a little work done on first down. Now back to the line. Caught in the backfield. It's Schultz. He'll get a fresh set of downs. Stopped at the 31-yard line. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. It's 1st and 10 from the 31. The give to the back. And this one will be stopped for no gain. They got nothing on the last play. It's 2nd and 10. Wants to go up top. Finds the tight end. And that had all the makings of bug meat windshield. But how about the little corner taking on the big tight end and keeping him from getting the first? Trying to move the sticks on 3rd down through the air. Just too much heat that time, and they knock him down at the 31.
This defense will bring pressure from the linebacker level, from the cornerback level, free safety level, and the strong safety level. They're bringing it from all over the field.
Looks as if NC State will have to punt it away. They'll have to boot it away for the first time tonight. They'll put that return to a stop at the 33, but the offense set up in pretty good field position. First play of the drive, wants to throw. That pass is incomplete. Try to make up for some of that lost ground on 2nd down. Looking to fire. Right on target this time. Really confident throw and catch there. Big pickup, and they have a first down. Firing to the right, complete. Caught, and he's close to a first down on the nice pickup there. The Hokies in a good spot here with 2nd and short. Back to pass. Always a welcome play for the defense as they get a sack at the 47.
I know this defense came into this game hoping to get pressure on the quarterback, but I don't know in their wildest dreams if they ever thought it was going to look this good. I lost track at 5 sacks. They have been all over this quarterback today.
Now 3rd and long and trying to play catch-up in more ways than one after that earlier sack. From the gun, wants to pass. A strike downfield. Oh, he's got some space. They get him corralled, but not until he's in the red zone. They'll mark it at the 14. And the Hokies are flying down the field. Out of the gun, the inside handoff to the running back. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that. 2nd down coming up on this red zone opportunity. They'll run play action. He's got it and still on his feet. That completion takes them down to the 7-yard line, and they are ready to strike. Calls his own number. They'll get him stopped just short of the end zone, but they're in business here with a 1st down. The Hokies didn't start this drive with great field position, but they have moved methodically down the field. And he is stopped, not getting close to the end zone. Line of scrimmage still at the 3. Can the defense stop them again on 2nd and goal? Tries again to get it in. And he crosses the goal line and gets the touchdown, but way too little, way too late. But they still do count it for 6.
Yeah, and listen, that is awesome to see the guys continue to fight, continue to keep competing, because this game is over. Like, we don't need to fool y'all. We're not trying to get y'all to stick around and improve ratings. Like, the game's over, but you're continuing to fight. You powered in for the touchdown, and show your kids that we're going to always fight no matter what the score is.
And they did tack on that extra point without any adventure. So it's a 73-yard touchdown drive and close the deal with a 3-yard touchdown run.
Well, they try to go onside kick, but that's why they're called the hands team. Great job recovering that ball.
They'll keep it on the ground. They want this clock to move.
Yeah, it's make or break time for this defense now. They got to get a stop, and if that's bringing more bodies in, bringing more beef in, they're running the football right up the gut, right at you. They're not going to throw the football in this situation.
There he goes. Now he's got it all the way down to the 21-yard line, and they are threatening on 1st down. Snap to the back. Oh, he's got a chance. They finally make the stop, and the defense out of sorts against that Wildcat, and they give up a big play. With the win today, they're now bowl eligible, and that's certainly worth celebrating, at least to some degree, wouldn't you say, guys?
Yeah, listen, at the start of the year, there are a lot of goals that get put up on the blackboard. Reaching a bowl game is one of them, so now you can go ahead and check that off. But if you're this football team, you're not celebrating that tonight. You're looking to build on this win, moving ahead, because they've got bigger goals down the road, Dave.
They do, and they've shown you some good flashes throughout the season, man. Some moments that really say this team could be really, really good. And so I think you continue to improve. You know at the end of the season, I get to take a vacation. Wherever the bowl game is, we get a free trip with my boys, but there's some work to be done still.
Thanks so much for spending some time with us. For David Pollack and Jesse Palmer, I'm Reese Davis, and this has been another presentation of EA Sports College Football.